everybody, welcome to my deep stretch practice. Today we're going to be spending some time laying on our backs first, warming up, coming up to standing, and then eventually to seated, just to play with some really nice deep stretches for our hips, for our hamstrings, trying to get into our quads a little bit. So I highly encourage you to have a strap, and that could be a tie or a scarf. I'm going to use a yoga block sometimes because my body does better with that. If you don't have a yoga block at home, cans of soup would also do, or maybe some books. If you're lucky enough to have a yoga block at home, maybe even 2 or 3 might be helpful in this practice. So let's start by choosing a comfortable position for ourselves. So you could be kneeling like I am, you could be seated, or you could be laying down on your back. And for me, the most important part of every practice is just arriving into this space. So noticing how your body is feeling, fighting the urge to fast forward past this part to get to the stretching. And really giving yourself this opportunity to just stop and to check in. Noticing where in your body you can feel your breath. Notice if there's any aches or pains, any sensations that you need to attend to. And then coming back to stillness, just softening and following that breath again. Remember that there's no right or wrong way to pay attention to your breath. Just noticing that the breath is coming in and that the breath is coming out is enough. And one more big in and out breath here. And then bring some gentle movement into your body in any way that feels good for you. So if you've chosen a different position than me, you might need different wakeful movements. So find those things for yourself. And then we're all going to start our practice laying on our backs today with our strap handy. So we'll come to lay down on our backs. And what we're going to do first, you can just keep the strap handy, is bring the right knee in toward the chest. And bring your awareness to your right foot and see if you can turn the foot in circles or point and flex a couple of times, and just notice any cricking or cracking that's there, any sensation that's present. Good, you can let that leg relax. Just give yourself a nice tight little hug. Some people might prefer to extend their left leg out onto the ground. Feel welcome to play with that at any point. Everything that I say is just a suggestion, so you might want to modify your poses too. From here, we're going to bring a little bit of movement into this. So let's let the left hand go and just slide the right leg over to the right, and then bring it back up to center. And try that a couple of times, sliding the leg out and back to center. And if you want, we can make this movement a little bit bigger and go over to the other side too. So you can bring the leg back to center and then grab onto it with the left leg without actually rolling over. Just how far over can you pull your leg? And then passing it back to the right leg. So some gentle back and forth movement. And one of these 2 places probably feels better for you. So why don't you find the spot that feels good and just hold that for 3 full breaths. And one more, inhale and exhale. Good. From here, we're going to use our strap. You can loop it around the bottom of your foot and just extend your right leg straight up. Again, you've got that option. You can pull the left knee in, or you can leave the left leg out. Doesn't matter if your left leg is relaxed or if your foot is flexed. Different schools of yoga have different thoughts on it, and today I just want it to be your school of yoga, which one feels better for you. And so we're going to press out through the right heel. That we're going to draw the right toes down, and if you've got the strap right on the ball of your right foot, you can actually pull down on it a little bit. And then let's play with bending the knee and straightening a couple of times. How far in you bend it is entirely up to you. And sometimes when our hamstrings are really tight, it might look a little bit more like this, and that's okay too. You can also bend your knee a little bit anytime that you're doing different work than you normally do. It's good for your body. From here, let's take the strap into our right hand. And the tendency here is for your whole body to roll over to the right. So we're going to try to put our left hand on our left hip just as an added reminder to anchor the left hip down. Slide the right leg out to the right as far as your body will allow it to go. For some of you, your foot might come right down to the ground. Mine clearly does not. And then come all the way back up. Let's try that a couple more times. If, like me, you're finding it a little bit difficult to bring your right leg over to the right without your whole body rolling over, something I sometimes do is place my left foot down and let the left knee hang out to the side. It acts as a little counterweight. I actually can get a deeper stretch on my right side when I play with that. Good. Next time your leg comes down, we're just gonna hold it there. And if that's like too much, if your body doesn't want to do that, just like let go of the strap and let your leg relax. That is still good work for your body. If it feels okay, you just hold it wherever it was. Find your breath and take a few easy in and out breaths there. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to come all the way back up. Let's walk our hands up a little bit higher on our strap now. Shrug your shoulders up off the ground, tuck your chin into your chest. And some of you might be able to reach your foot, feel free, or you can hold on to the strap like I am. Good, and slowly relax down. We're going to bend our knee, take the strap off, and just extend the right leg to straight for a moment. Let it relax onto your mat, and notice the difference in sensation that you've just created from your right side to your left side. Good, so we're going to switch sides. I'm just going to flip around. You can stay exactly as you are. It's because I don't have room to put my leg out on that side. So we're going to start with hugging the left knee in. Right leg is wherever you want it to be. It might be extended out in front of you. You might have your foot flat on the ground. Bringing some awareness to your left ankle, either pointing and flexing or turning in circles. And then we're going to start that side to side movement again. So we're going to let go with the right hand, just drag the leg out to the left. And then back in, so we're just playing with external rotation to start, out and in. And you decide, yours might look more like this. That's still okay. There's not a better way. It's just whatever feels good for your body. And if you wanted to add that little bit of extra movement, maybe the next time your leg comes to center, you grab one with the right hand, just give it a little pull over to the side. So I'm not rolling over, not yet. That's a twist, that's later. But this being your practice and you being in your own living room, you can of course do whatever you want. Going out to the side, back up and over. And then again, finding that spot that's like, oh yes, I'm so glad this is why I'm doing yoga. This is what my body needs, either here or out. And taking a few slow, easy breaths. Noticing again that pesky wandering mind, thinking about groceries you need to get, laundry you need to do. Coming back to the next inhale and exhale. And let's come back to center. Extend our leg up into the air with our strap. Looping the strap right around the ball of the foot. Remember, your leg could be here, could be here. All of those things are okay. You might have your right knee bent. So you're just finding the place that suits your body best. Pressing up through the left heel, drawing the toes down, and bringing a little bit of mobility into the hip, into the hamstrings, by straightening and bending the knee. And from here, we'll take the strap into the left hand. Right hand on the right hip as a gentle reminder, maybe letting the right leg fall out, maybe keeping the leg extended, whatever works for you, bringing it over to the left as far as it goes, which may be farther than the other side or not quite as far, and then coming back up to center. So we all have different reasons for following this yoga video right now, but at the root of all of those reasons is that you want to feel well. So make sure that every movement that you do works toward that goal today. The next time your leg comes out, you can hold it there. Maybe you always have the option of relaxing, just letting the leg fall down to the ground. You have the option of bending the right knee to create a little bit more space in your hips. Using your breath. Good, let's come all the way up. And then we're gonna shrug our shoulders up off the ground, tuck the chin into the chest, walk our hands up as high as we can on our straps, pulling the leg towards us at the same time as we're pulling our body toward our leg. You still want to make sure that you can breathe easily here. And we'll inhale one more time. And as you exhale, you just relax, set your strap off to the side. Extend both legs out, just give them a little shake. Your fingers might be sore if you were holding onto a strap with a death grip like I was. So you can also play around with straightening out the hands, maybe making the whole body long. And we'll inhale one more time. And then as you exhale, we're gonna come all the way up. We're gonna flip over to hands and knees, and we're gonna bring ourselves up to standing in this way. So we're gonna start by tucking our toes underneath, pressing our hips up and back, and finding ourselves in downward facing dog. And notice how that down dog feels for you today. Feel free to be playful with it. You might walk your feet a little bit closer towards your hands. You might widen them. You might step them back and really press your heels down. And from here, we're gonna come into a low lunge. So we're gonna step the left foot forward, and you have the option of putting the left knee down or of leaving the left knee up. So the truth is you're probably gonna get a deeper stretch if you put the knee down, but you're gonna really play with strength and balance if you leave the left knee up. So depending on what your goals are with this practice, you choose back knee down, back knee up. You can also choose back toes tucked under if the knee is down, or back foot flat. So choose whatever works for you. And then you can have your hands down on the ground. This might be a spot where a yoga block would be helpful. You can have your hands on your block. You might have your hands up on your thigh. You might play around with opening up through the chest, or maybe lifting the hands up. So choose the position that works for you. Don't choose the one that you see on the cover of Yoga Journal unless it's the one that feels best. We sometimes have preconceived notions of what yoga should look like, but we're just looking for nice sensations through the body here. See what it takes to slow your breath down. Good, we'll inhale one more time. And then we're gonna exhale our hands back down. From here, we're gonna heel toe the left foot out a little bit wider, and I'm just gonna flip around so you can see what I mean there. So right now, I'm in my lunge stance, and I'm gonna make it a little bit wider than my lunge stance. And I'm gonna take both hands to the inside here for lizard. And some of you are already really cranky with me because this can be awful for your hips. If you're one of those people, please put your hands up on blocks, or just go back to the lunge you were in. If you're like, what are you talking about, Kimberly? This feels fantastic. Some of you, I am not those people, can lower down onto your elbows on the ground. So sometimes I'll lower down onto my block. Whew, not today though. So I'm just gonna stay right here, and you're gonna decide in your body what feels best. One more option is that you can add an external rotation to the left leg. So we're rotating from the hip, not from the ankle. So I'm gonna just let the leg fall out to the side, and you might prefer the externally rotated version. You might not. So choose for yourself what feels best. And then let's take some slow and easy breaths there. So we're gonna look to hold this for about 30 more seconds. If that makes you angry, maybe come out of it, come up a little bit higher, come back to the lunge that you were in before. If you're like, oh no, give me that, maybe you wanna lower down a touch. And one more in and out breath. And then we'll heel toe the foot in. So you got some more choices here. I'm gonna just move myself sideways again. You can from here rock forward and back from your hips just to straighten out the left leg. You could, if you want, do a standing version of this too. You can tuck the back toes under and do the same thing, bending the knee, straightening. So you've got the choice of having the back leg up off the ground or the back knee down. Either way, we're just looking to get some mobility through the hips. And as you come back here to the end range, you're gonna find your hamstrings. Good. From here, We're gonna take our fingertips back down to the ground, tuck those back toes under. We're gonna step our feet together at the top of our mat and just exhale and relax here in a forward fold. Let your body be really loose. It might not look anything like this. It might look more like this, or you might be folded straight in half. All of those things are okay. Just make sure it feels good for your body. And when you're ready from here, we're gonna step the left leg back, and you're gonna choose again, do you want the back knee up or do you want the back knee down? It doesn't matter. You're gonna choose, do I want my hands on the ground? Do I want my hands on a block? Do I want my hands up on my right thigh? Or do I wanna do something different with my arms? So you're gonna find the thing that works and take some slow and easy breaths. So you know where we're going from here. You know we're going to lizard, and you might not want to, so you can stay here a little bit longer. If you want to go to lizard, we're just going to heel toe the right foot out to the outside of it mat, so nice wide stance. We're going to take our hands inside, and you're going to pause there. You're going to notice how it feels. You might lower down onto your elbows. You might come up higher onto your block. You might add external rotation from the hip. So of course the foot's going to move too, but we're trying to avoid it just being the ankle that does the turning. The whole leg moves. And take a few easy breaths there. So again, holding this for about 30 more seconds, noticing in your body, what does that feel like? Is that okay? Do you wish that you weren't there anymore? Remember, you are in control of this practice, especially over YouTube. I can't even see what you're doing. You could be eating ice cream for all I know. And one more big in and out breath. And then we're gonna heel toe the foot in. And just like we did before, we're gonna rock forward and back. But you have that option of tucking the back toes under or stepping the foot up and doing that a little bit more standing. And you can stay exactly as you were. All right, so this time, we're gonna step back to downward dog. Notice how downward dog feels now that we've had some time to stretch our legs out a little bit. And we're gonna start walking our hands back towards our feet. And at some point, your knees are gonna need to bend. The weight's gonna transfer. It's gonna be mostly in your feet. And then let's inhale, come all the way up to standing. Okay, we'll exhale our hands down to heart center. From here, let's take a nice wide stance on our mats. Well, it looks like I'm a little bit taller. I'm gonna have to go very wide so that you can see me in the frame. And we're gonna play around with our forward fold here. So you can start with your hands on your hips. We're gonna inhale here. And then as you exhale, hinge yourself forward. Take your hands down to the mat and just allow the crown of your head to relax down. And if you wanna be a little bit playful, you might walk the hands over toward the right foot. Take a nice full in and out breath there. And you might walk them over to the left foot. Full in and out breath there. Good, coming back to center. Good, and then placing the weight into your palms, heel toeing your feet a little bit closer, and then coming to kneeling right in the center of your mat. So here's where we have that option of stretching through our quads a little bit. So this might be enough, just kneeling right here. If your knees don't love this, I can show you a version in a moment where you're laying on your belly or on your side. If this feels okay, you're gonna stay here. It might also feel quite nice to lean back a little bit. So I'm sitting up on my heels. So it might feel nice just to lean back a little. Some of you, not me, can lower all the way down toward the ground to get a nice stretch there. Some people like to internally rotate their legs a little bit and put their heels outside of their knees. That's okay. Just make sure if you're doing that, that your seat is all the way on the ground so that we're not putting too much pressure on the knees. So you're gonna choose wherever you need to be to get a nice stretch for your quads. We're gonna hold it for about 30 seconds. If this version doesn't do it for you, you can also reach back and do one leg at a time. So staying in that shape unless you're doing the one-sided version. Grabbing for the other leg if you are doing the one-sided version. Good. And then from here, we're all going to transition to a seated position on our mats. And depending on your body, you might want to be sitting on something. So sometimes I find sitting right on the ground, my body does this. It can be really difficult for me to sit up nice and tall. So I'll often use a cushion for that. If you don't have like a fancy yoga block with you, you can use a blanket. I'm going to use just a pillow from my couch right now. You don't necessarily need that. I just know that I need that. So when I sit right on the edge of my cushion, it just helps me sit up nice and tall. So I'm going to sit with my legs crossed here. And if this isn't comfortable for you, it's okay to choose something different. You might like to extend your legs out. You might like to have your legs wide. So just choose something that works for you. Okay. And let's take a couple in and out breaths here and just notice how your body is feeling now. Notice any stories you've been telling yourself about your practice. And then just bring the awareness back to the breath. So just having this little pause before we finish with 2 more seated poses, because sometimes in our seated forward folds, we can feel really inadequate because, you know, our knees might look like this and it might be really awkward. And what I want you to do is try to find ease in these shapes. So if you can't find ease doing this, I'm going to give you some different options, or you can just remember to just come back to the place where you can breathe easily. And remember that there's no such thing as bad at yoga. So we're going to look to fold forward in our square pose. I'm going to give you a couple different options for that. So in our square pose, it's a little bit like cross-legged, only with our legs crossed, our ankles are close together. In square pose, our ankles are closer to our opposite knees and maybe right underneath of them. Some people's knees relax farther down than mine do. This is just as far as my body goes. The other difference is that in our cross-legged pose, there's a V in front of our shins. Here, I've got my right shin parallel to the front of my mat. Some of you are more flexible than me, most of you. You might be able to take your top leg on top of your bottom leg. And here my knee might relax down. Today it doesn't, so I'm going to leave my shin in front. And if for you all of this is like terrible, I'm going to show you in one moment a version you can do laying on your back. So if this feels nice, we're going to inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to hinge forward and just allow your body to relax into this shape. If nothing about that feels relaxing for you, you could do the same thing on your back. Coming onto your back, crossing the right leg over the left knee and pulling the left foot up and in. So doing our figure 4 pose is going to stretch the same group of muscles in the back of the hip and in the glutes as doing our seated forward fold. So choosing one of those 2 poses and then resting and relaxing here a little bit longer. Get on your next inhale, coming all the way back up. If you're laying on your back, you could just extend your legs up to straight. Seated, you can do the same thing, give them a little shake out. And we're just gonna switch sides. So if you're seated, you're gonna put your left shin in front of your right, or maybe your left shin on top of your right. If you're laying on your back, you're gonna cross your left foot over your right knee. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, if you're seated, you're folding forward. If you're laying on your back, you're just gently drawing the leg towards your body. Taking a few more easy in and out breaths here. And then we'll slowly come all the way back up. From here, we're going to make our way down onto our back to finish off in a spinal twist. If you have a pillow, you might like it for this shape too, but you don't need it. So laying on our back, we're gonna extend our left leg to straight. We're gonna pull our right leg up and in. And then you might just wanna hang out here. Or it might feel really nice to roll over onto your left hip, bringing the right leg across the body down toward the ground. Now, if your knee doesn't reach the ground, and you can see that mine doesn't, that's fine. It doesn't have to, but sometimes it feels nice to have support. So sometimes I'll put a block or maybe a pillow underneath of my leg. And then I'm gonna open my chest up toward the ceiling, palms up. Sometimes it also feels nice to reach down, just put some gentle traction on the right leg, pulling down with my left hand. If this feels like a little bit too much for you, you can also put both knees together over to the side and see if that feels better. There is no actual rule over where your head and neck have to look here. It's just wherever it feels good. Sometimes I rock mine from side to side. Let's take 2 more big breaths. Good, same thing on the other side. So you might have the right leg extended, you might have both knees together, your choice. You're gonna float the left leg up, roll over away from your left side, over to the right. You can hear me groaning a little bit today, and it's because I've done too much cross-country skiing. So deciding maybe to support your leg, maybe to pull the bottom knee up into this twist. It's whatever feels good for you. Taking nice, slow and easy breaths. Let's take 1 more in and out breath here. And then slowly roll yourself down onto your back. We're just going to finish bringing our feet out to opposite edges of the mat, letting the knees fall into constructive rest pose. If that's not the best place for your body, it's okay to choose something different. Sometimes you might have your feet a little bit wider, so we're just looking for that gentle internal rotation. Your knees are supported by each other here. And it might feel nice to bring your hands overhead. And just taking a few slow and easy breaths. And then letting your legs relax, slowly extending them out. You can bring your hands down at either side, just getting your body ready for our final resting pose. Allowing your whole body to softly relax on your mat. So you stay there while I sit up. And just let your whole body relax from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. Taking nice, slow and easy breaths. Just feeling all tension melt away, your whole body supported by your mat or the floor. Bringing the awareness to the breath. And noticing where it is that the mind is going whenever it wanders away from this moment. Are you planning or remembering? Are you worrying, as is easy to do lately? Just notice, there's nothing wrong with those things. Those are all necessary functions of the human brain. We're just going to notice and then bring the awareness back to the breath. tempting as it may be to get up and get on with the rest of your day, try to give yourself this last minute here, just still and quiet. Take one final in and out breath. And then start bringing some gentle movement back to your body again. Maybe reaching your arms overhead. Maybe hugging your knees into your chest. And then slowly bringing yourself up to a comfortable seated position where we can finish our practice together today. So with your hands in your lap, maybe your hands on your heart, hands at heart center. Let's close our practice with gratitude and being grateful to yourself for coming here today and giving yourself this half an hour of quiet time and attention. Being grateful to your body for all of the incredible ways that it allows you to move. And then being grateful to everyone else who tuned in to join you, practicing from the safety and warmth of their own living rooms as we practice together in community as well as self-isolation. May there be peace in our minds, peace in our bodies, and peace in our community. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a beautiful day.